What's up guys, it's me your boy SteveRandom here, and in today's video I'm going to be explaining to you guys the difference between niche fragrances and designer fragrances. Now you've probably heard the word niche before, niche fragrances, and you're like, wow, that sounds good. But then you look at the price and you're like, no, I'll just stick to the designers. And basically the word niche fragrances means that fragrance house only does fragrances and doesn't do clothing or any other stuff. They just focus mainly on fragrances. Houses like that are Creed, Parfums de Marly, some other houses I just can't really remember all of them. Yeah, basically, you can search up the brands that have that. Designers are fragrances that make fragrances. No, are companies that make fragrances and also do merchandise, clothing, whatever you can think about, shoes, other stuff. Those are designers. That's the main difference. Now you've obviously got other stuff, of course, like quality, cost. Basically, the niche, they cost a lot more because they're better quality, I guess you could say, because they work more on they're focused on fragrances, so I would hope they'd be better than the designers. But there are some designers out there that really have some good quality and can be classified as a niche perfume, but obviously aren't niche because they do other stuff, not just focus on colognes. And one being Tom Ford. Tom Ford is in fact a designer because he also does clothing, but he also does have fragrances that are very, very good quality, very good ingredients. Like basically, it's very well done, and it can be classified as a niche fragrance, and that's mainly the reason why they're so expensive. His colognes, because he is a designer, but they're very expensive. So you're like, is this really a designer? I don't know. But niche also, there's something called eau de toilette, eau de parfum, extract, or I don't know, really the oil itself. And eau de toilette includes, I think, 10% of the actual ingredients and 90% alcohol. Eau de parfum includes 20% of the actual ingredients. Eau de toilette is pretty much a basic, and it is the most common one, I think. But it's not too bad. But if you're going for a nice quality, I would get something that's eau de parfum. The real question is, should you get a niche cologne or should you get a good designer cologne? Now, if you're willing to spend some money, I would obviously recommend to get a niche cologne. If you're not willing to recommend spending money, I would go for a designer. Maybe like something like Chanel or the Bleu de Chanel by Chanel, or something like Dior Sauvage, which I have right here, or even something that's a cheaper option. Something like, if I can get it out, here we have Versace Euros, which is a designer. You can find it for about $40 to $50, which is pretty cheap compared to some of the niche colognes. But then you've got Creed Aventus. That's like $300 you can get it for, which is a pretty expensive price if you ask me, and it's not really appealing to purchase because of the price. But it smells good, right? But it's just the price that's the downfall. Then you've got like other fragrances that are sometimes even 500, sometimes 1,000. I think there's one cologne that I've seen that's costs about like $800, which is crazy. But obviously it's your choice in the end. If you guys decide to buy niche colognes, nothing wrong with that. If you only buy designers, like what I have, all I have is designers because I can't really afford the niche colognes. I mean, designers work well for me, but I'd obviously prefer niche colognes because in the end, if you're buying a fragrance, you might as well buy the best quality ones. But the price also pays a huge amount. So if you're willing to buy something that's like $150-$200 for a cologne, then go ahead. I mean, it's definitely better than buying a designer. But if you don't really mind what colognes you have, then you can get designers. I mean, they're sometimes good as well. In the end, it doesn't really matter what you guys buy, because if it's designer, there could be some really good designers like what I mentioned, and if it's niche, it's also very good. But you just gotta make sure that you're reviewing what you guys purchase and making sure, you know, getting maybe a sample before you buy something, because I almost bought Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille, which is like $170. I luckily sampled it before I had purchased. I sampled it and I was like, no, I'm not gonna get that at all. So I just canceled my purchase. But that was almost a waste of $160, which was not gonna be nice. So I recommend really sampling your colognes, and yeah, the difference really I explained. Now that you know the difference, you can decide what you're gonna get. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, click the like button below, subscribe for more videos, share this video with your friends, and well, I hit my nose. And peace.